Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be setting up a simple system so that we can respawn throughout our world. Whenever we fall off our obstacle course, it'll call an action called death, where we also have a nice little simulate ragdoll animation before we die, and we'll also have a respawn system. So whenever we die, we have this little widget here that we'll be able to place in the world, and whenever we get knocked down or whatever, we'll be able to set it to respawn here. So for example, if I hit and I die here, then it'll respawn me at this checkpoint. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to find our game mode. So if we go ahead, and if we don't know what our game mode is, we can go over to edit in the top left, project settings, and maps and modes. And on here, we should see our default game mode, and we're using the default third person. If we hit this file icon with the magnifying glass, it'll pull up the blueprint for it. So let's go ahead and double click this to open it up. Now we got to exit out of all this. And here's our event graph for our game mode. So we're gonna go ahead and add a custom event called respawn player. All right, and on a respawn player, we're going to want to add, or I guess spawn actor from class, and we're going to go ahead and choose the character that we're using. We're using the default third person character, so BP third person character. And for testing purposes, this tells us where we want to spawn or respawn our player. We're going to go ahead and drag this into our respawn node, and it will take this as an input. For now, we're going to add a checkpoint system later, but that's another video. Now on here, we're going to want to get player controller, and we're going to want to possess this, and then take this possess node and hook this up. And in the return value, we're going to put that into pawn and compile and save. All right, great. Now we need to go to our third person character that we're using. So BP third person character, open this up, and on the event graph, we're going to add another custom event, and we're going to call this death. So on death, we're going to want to destroy the actor. Simple as that. Now that we created our death event, we're going to go down and add another we're going to add something called event destroyed, and we're going to drag from this, and we're going to cast this to our third person game mode. And for the object reference, we're going to get game mode, and we are going to cast this out and respawn player. And this is just a reference to in our side of our game mode, our respawn player, that event that we created. And on the spawn transform, we're going to leave this alone for now. We're going to compile this, and let's go ahead and test this out. So we need a way to call death upon our actor. So I'm going to go ahead and search up key, and we're just going to make it 1 for now. And on press, we're going to call death. So whenever I press 1 on the keyboard, it will call death and destroy our actor. So if I compile this and go to our level, let's go ahead and press play. Now if I press 1, pew, our player will die and respawn. Now that's just the 0-0 world location. We can set up the respawn point, and that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over to our blueprints, and we're gonna add a new blueprint of type actor and call this BP underscore respawn points. Double click to open this up, and we're just gonna add a billboard, and this kind of just gives us a visual flair for kind of what we want to see in the world, where we want it. Raise this up a bit. We're gonna compile this and then go back to our spaceship. Now, in our blueprint here, we need to be able to call this actor in the world so that we can see where we want it to go. So if I go to our third person character blueprint and I do get all actors of class, and then we get set our class as our new blueprint that we created, respawn points, and then we go ahead and from our out actors we just want to drag the one. If we had multiple checkpoints, we just want one location to respawn at. So we're going to go ahead and get a copy, and then we're going to go ahead and get actor transform, and then connect this up. And then if we compile this and we have this in the world, maybe let's go ahead and drag this out into the world, and there's our little icon so we can kind of see where our player is. If I press play and I press 1, now we respawn at our checkpoint. Okay, so now that we have a respawn system, we want it to be more than just to spawn our player back and teleport them. So let's go to our third person character, and on our death event, we're going to want to add, well, basically, we're going to want to cast this to our BP underscore third person character, and then object is going to be self. And what we want to do is we want to simulate physics, and we want it to be for the mesh. We're going to check, make sure simulate is on, and after it simulates, we want it to wait 2 seconds, so delay. We're going to type this 2 seconds, and after a while, well, actually before this, once we simulate the physics, we want to disable input. So that way our player, I guess, can't use any keys or controls or whatever. So make sure our third person character is connected over to the target. We're going to delay it for 2 seconds and then destroy the actor and then respawn it. So now if we compile and play, now our character simulates the physics and then respawns at our target location. Okay, so now that we have a working respawn system, let's go ahead and add some more options to call upon death besides just pressing 1. So in an obstacle course, obviously if there's going to be traps, if you get hit, it's going to knock you off. And also if you just fall off, we want it to call death. So let's go ahead and set that up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new blueprint class of type actor, and let's name this BP death void. Open this up, and we're just going to add a box collision, and we're going to scale this all the way up. So on the XY, let's set this at maybe 200. That should be good. Now on the event graph, we're going to go ahead and delete these. Right click the box collision, add event on component begin overlap. And we're going to want to call, let's see, okay, cast to BP third person character, other actors, the object, and we're going to want to call upon death. So whenever we hit this box, our character is going to do our death event. Oh, connect this up. Now compile. So now if we drag this into the world, let's go ahead and drag this down. Probably need to resize this maybe to 400, just as long as it's big enough. Compile. We can resize it here. So we want to make sure it's covering the whole thing. And if our character falls off now, let's go ahead and see if I can go into our Obby here. So if my character falls out and I hit this, it's going to kill my player. So that's exactly what we want. And it also has the simulate physics. Great. So I can go ahead and go back to my third person, and we do not need to press 1 to activate death anymore. And the next thing we want to do is on this hammer that we had, I'm going to go ahead and set it so that this box collision here, whatever you have, it will also call upon death. So instead of on component begin overlap, set simulate physics, we're going to want to actually cast a BP third person character, and on the same thing we did as our other box collision, we're going to want to call upon our event called death, so that it'll also simulate physics, but it will also give us a brief moment and then respawn our character. It's exactly what we want. So there you have it, folks. We have our first kind of death realm here and respawn system. So stay tuned. We're going to add a checkpoint system. So whatever checkpoint you're at, whenever you respawn, it will save your progress through the obstacle course, and you will be able to respawn. Thanks for watching. Peace.